For years, the world has watched what many believed was the greatest royal rivalry of modern times. Every headline, every interview, every public appearance seemed to reinforce the idea that Prince Harry and Prince William were destined to remain on opposite sides forever. But what if something has quietly changed? What if, after everything that's happened, Harry has come to a painful realization, one that few saw coming? Not because William celebrated, not because anyone officially declared a winner, but because time has revealed something neither brother could have predicted. As public opinion shifts, royal responsibilities evolve, and family dynamics continue to change, many royal observers are asking an uncomfortable question. Has Prince Harry finally realized that William has already won the battle neither of them ever wanted to fight? Before we dive in, remember that much of what surrounds the royal family is based on public appearances, expert commentary, and media reporting rather than confirmed private conversations. But when those pieces are placed together, they paint a fascinating picture that is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. So, what exactly has changed? Let's begin at the beginning. When Queen Elizabeth II was alive, she represented stability unlike anyone else. Regardless of disagreements behind palace walls, she remained the family's anchor. Many believed there would always be time for reconciliation because the Queen had a unique ability to bring people together, even during moments of deep tension. Then, everything changed. Her passing marked not only the end of an era, but also the beginning of an entirely new royal chapter. Suddenly, Prince William wasn't simply the second in line. He became the undisputed future of the monarchy. His responsibilities expanded overnight. Every public engagement carried greater significance. Every speech was analyzed more closely. Every decision suddenly reflected the future king of the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Harry's journey took a very different direction. Having stepped away from royal duties years earlier, he was building an entirely new life overseas. There were media projects, documentaries, interviews, and memoirs that offered his perspective on royal life. While these projects attracted enormous attention, they also deepened the divide between Harry and many members of the royal family. Initially, some commentators believed Harry's openness would permanently reshape public opinion. Others believed William would struggle beneath the enormous pressure now placed upon him. Instead, something unexpected happened. William adapted. Slowly, quietly, without dramatic announcements. Rather than responding publicly to criticism, he largely remained focused on his official role. Whether visiting charities, supporting military organizations, promoting environmental initiatives, or appearing alongside Catherine, Princess of Wales, William maintained an image centered on continuity. That consistency became one of his greatest strengths. Royal commentators frequently observed that while headlines surrounding Harry often changed from month to month, William's public role appeared increasingly stable. Consistency, after all, is one of the qualities monarchies depend upon. Then another major challenge emerged. King Charles III revealed that he was undergoing treatment for cancer. The announcement shocked not only Britain but audiences around the world. Suddenly, William's responsibilities increased even further. With the king reducing public engagements and Catherine also stepping back during her own cancer treatment and recovery, enormous expectations fell upon William's shoulders. It could have become an impossible situation. Instead, many observers felt he handled the moment with remarkable restraint. Rather than seeking attention, he carefully balanced public duty with supporting his wife and young family during an extraordinarily difficult period. Many royal experts pointed out that this balancing act strengthened William's public image. He wasn't simply performing royal engagements. He was navigating personal hardship while carrying institutional responsibility. For many people watching, that mattered. Meanwhile, Harry remained physically distant from these events. Although he made visits to the UK on several occasions, reports consistently suggested that meaningful reconciliation between the brothers remained elusive. Photographs captured brief moments. Statements remained limited. The silence itself often became the headline. And sometimes silence speaks louder than words. As months turned into years, something else became increasingly noticeable. Media attention began changing. Earlier coverage frequently focused on conflict between the brothers. Now, more stories centered on William's future role as king. Constitutional questions. State responsibilities. International diplomacy. Commonwealth relationships. The education of Prince George. Preparation for the next generation of monarchy. The conversation had evolved. Rather than asking whether William could lead, many had begun discussing when he eventually would. That subtle shift represented something significant. Public discussion had moved beyond rivalry. It had become about leadership. And leadership often shapes history more than conflict ever can. Meanwhile, Harry continued pursuing charitable work through initiatives such as the Invictus Games, an achievement widely recognized across the world. His commitment to wounded veterans remains one of the most respected aspects of his public life. Yet even supporters noticed something. No matter how successful Harry's independent projects became, they occupied an entirely different space from William's constitutional role. One man was building influence through personal initiatives. The other was preparing to inherit one of the world's oldest institutions. Those paths were never truly comparable. Perhaps they never could be. Then came another factor many analysts highlight. Public perception often changes gradually rather than dramatically. Years ago, emotional interviews dominated headlines. Today, people increasingly ask practical questions. Who represents stability? Who symbolizes continuity? Who appears ready for future responsibility? Fairly or unfairly, these questions naturally favor the heir to the throne. That doesn't necessarily diminish Harry's accomplishments, but it changes the framework through which both brothers are viewed. Some royal commentators argue this may be the realization Harry eventually confronted. Not that William defeated him personally. Not that anyone won a family dispute. Rather, William fulfilled the role history had always prepared him for. The monarchy continued. The line of succession remained intact. The institution adapted once again. And William stood firmly at its center. There is another emotional layer to this story that often receives less attention. Brothers rarely stop being brothers. Regardless of disagreements. Regardless of geography. Regardless of interviews or headlines. Behind every royal title are two men who shared childhood memories, military experiences, family celebrations, and unimaginable public scrutiny from an early age. Few people can truly understand what that life feels like, which makes their separation all the more tragic. Some royal observers believe that Harry may never have wanted to compete with William in the first place. Instead, circumstances gradually transformed normal sibling differences into an international spectacle. Every disagreement became front-page news. Every silence invited speculation. Every reunion sparked hopes of reconciliation. That pressure would challenge almost any family. Yet history rarely pauses because families struggle. Institutions continue moving forward. Responsibilities continue expanding. Future kings continue preparing. And that's precisely what William has been doing. Every year that passes reinforces his position. Every successful engagement strengthens public confidence. Every international appearance builds experience. Every constitutional duty prepares him for the throne. It's not flashy. It isn't dramatic. But perhaps that's exactly why it has proven so effective. While others debated narratives, William quietly accumulated something far more valuable. Experience. Credibility. Trust. These qualities aren't built overnight. They're earned through years of consistent public service. And perhaps this is the moment that many believe Harry finally recognized. Not that William had outmaneuvered him. Not that anyone had scored points. But that history had continued exactly as it always intended. William wasn't merely surviving the enormous expectations placed upon him. He was growing into them. And whether admired or criticized, that reality has become increasingly difficult for anyone, including Harry, to ignore. Perhaps, in the end, the greatest victory was never about headlines, interviews, or public opinion. It was about purpose. William embraced the path he was born into, carrying its burdens with quiet determination through some of the monarchy's most challenging years. Harry, meanwhile, continues to define his own legacy outside the royal institution. Whether reconciliation comes or not remains unknown, but one truth seems increasingly clear. History has kept moving, and William stands firmly at its center. As the next chapter of the monarchy unfolds, the question is no longer who will lead. It is how that leadership will shape the future of the royal family for generations to come.